So we're making a last minute Memorial Day side dish. If you haven't gotten anything planned, if you're going to a cookout because you just wanna, or you just wanna do something at home, why not? I mean, it's summer almost, so why not celebrate a little bit? So what I'm gonna do today is some Brussels sprouts, and I'm gonna grill them up actually, which is really interesting. I did this earlier in the week and it worked out quite fantastically. I was pretty surprised. So it's just my run-of-the-mill frozen Brussels sprouts I'm gonna do on the grill. And this recipe calls for radicchio, or like a cabbage slaw if you want, but I didn't have that on hand and I only wanted to use things in the house. So I had some carrots. Now these ones are whole baby carrots. So what I'm going to be doing is shredding those up in my little food processor. And that's going to be the veggie for my slaw salad. So I've got some cranberries, dried cranberries, and I've got some golden raisins that we usually put in our oatmeal. I'm going to put some of those in. And the dressing is super simple. It's just an olive oil and cider vinaigrette with mustard and maple syrup and a little bit of salt to make everything pop. And that I've got everything all laid out here. So I'm just gonna get started on those carrots because those can be a little bit time consuming, and then we'll go outside and put the Brussels sprouts on the grill, and I'll show you what I do for that because that's pretty fun. So let's get started. And if you got a food processor, the blade that you're going to want to use is the shred blade, believe it or not, because these were the shredded carrots. And yeah. So we're out on the grill, and as you can see here, I got my foil set up like I normally do inside on the baking tray, but we've just moved out doors and it's blowing around some, but whatever, that's okay. We're just gonna dump out our sprouts here, nothing fancy. And put on some olive oil so that they don't stick too bad. And that's fine if you're gonna coat these with olive oil, because what we're gonna do for the dressing is just more of the same olive oil. So no harm, no foul. And then move these around a little bit. Majority of them. And season them up with the Montreal seasoning. Blanked on the name. Now I did this randomly one night because I just didn't want to heat up the house anymore. But if you've got like a stovetop griddle or something, you could try it out on that as well, and that's super hot. Didn't think of it. There, that's a little bit better. And it's different. You're gonna get different flavors from the different method of cooking, and it's fun. I mean, why heat up the house any more than you have to? Now we're just gonna let that cook for maybe 15 minutes, probably about the same amount of time that you'd do it in the oven. And yeah, we'll come back and check it out in a little bit and see where we are. So while we're waiting for the sprouts to grill up outside, I figured I would do the vinaigrette for this dressing, or for the salad. And it calls for a 1/3 cup of olive oil. Of course. on the Brussels sprouts on the grill, we're gonna do up the dressing real quick. So it's gonna be a 1/3 cup of olive oil. There we are. And 3 tablespoons of cider vinegar. I have to reference this one because I haven't done it very often. This is actually the 2nd time. And the vinegar that you use is apple cider. So it's 1. And I really love apple cider vinegar because you can put it in lots of dressings. And I prefer to make my dressings at home because I just like to know what I'm putting in. And mustard is going to be 2 tablespoons. And any mustard, just not yellow, I would say. Probably like a brown spicy mustard if you got that. But definitely not yellow for this dressing. That just would not come out right. It wouldn't have the nice tang that we're looking for to match the vinegar. And believe it or not, maple syrup, because you do need a little bit of sweetness to balance out all the tang. So 2 tablespoons of that. And like I said, a pinch of salt, but it doesn't really need it. We didn't find. Oh, it's so fragrant. You've got that apple cider vinegar with a nice spice coming out, and then mixed with the mustard and the sweetness of the maple syrup. It's just very unique, and it complements the Brussels sprouts really well with your golden raisins and cranberries if you want to add a combination of those. It's really special kind of dressing for your salad. Since we're still waiting on the Brussels sprouts, thought I'd get together the rest of my salad accoutrement, as Steve Carell likes to say. So we've got our 1/2 cup of craisins, and I'm just gonna sprinkle in some golden raisins too, just for some different color and a little bit of springtime sweetness. And actually we need that off. So we've got some walnuts, and we want, it calls for about 1 cup of toasted walnuts. Now, I'm not that fancy. Clearly I'm fancy with my Brussels sprouts, but you know, that's okay. So I'm just gonna break these up like I do for the oatmeal, and I'm gonna try not to make too much of a mess and waste a lot. But I'm gonna do about 1/2 cup. And if you want another kind of nut to put with this salad, you could do sunflower seeds. I did toss some sunflower seeds in with this before, and we really liked it because it has the salty sweet complex. And it looks like we're getting some sunflower seeds too.
I good?
I guess so. I guess that's fine. That was probably a tablespoon. Alright, so finish that. And we got our 1/2 cup of walnuts going right in there. And I want to make a correction to my earlier self. The carrots were actually about 1.5 cups that I had done up. And we're just going to stir this together right now and set that aside. We don't want to dress it quite yet because then everything will just get wet and gross. So we're going to wait until we've got the Brussels sprouts. And what I'm going to do for those is kind of chop those up some. Now, typical salad recipes like this with Brussels sprouts or broccoli, they're going to call for it to be uncooked. And that's just because you don't want everything so wet. You're putting on a dressing that has like mustard and oil in it, and it's going to make everything wet. But these were frozen Brussels sprouts, so I just decided to, you know, roast them up on the grill and cut them up still that way. And it ended up working out really well. It's not really a drenched salad. I didn't use the entire bit of dressing. I had about, what would you say, a quarter? No, like how much dressing was left over?
I don't know, tablespoons maybe, like 2 tablespoons.
Okay, so we had about 2 tablespoons left over of the dressing, and we just used that the following day for lunch. So you don't have to use all of the dressing on your salad because then it will weigh it down. But you know, if you like to have your salad fully dressed, then go right ahead. So we will be back with the Brussels sprouts and also chicken, because you know, if it's Memorial Day, you gotta be grilling something other than Brussels sprouts, so why not some just regular old barbecue chicken? And it's coming up shortly. So we're back here on the grill and we're gonna do up some chicken. We already took off the Brussels sprouts. Those were plenty done. And I just take out some chicken to thaw in the morning from the freezer because it's all darn day. And all we're gonna do is spread on some barbecue sauce. You can use any kind that you want. And put it right on the grill like that. Now, they usually say to wait 15 minutes before you're going to take it off the grill to put on the sauce. I like to put it right on there because I like that caramelization. And I'm just going to brush it on. And if you don't have a brush like this gigantic thing, a spoon also works. That's what we were using until we got this ginormous piece of equipment. So we're just gonna brush that on and use these hysterically enormous tongs. And I find brushing or putting on whatever seasoning that I want before I put the meat on the grill, because otherwise you got to contend with that top thing, and that's not fun. Now move on to the second. So we're gonna leave this for about 15 minutes, just like everything else, and then come back, check it, see that it needs to be flipped, and always close the lid. Again, the internal temperature for chicken that's cooked is gonna be 165, so we'll check for that afterwards. And yeah, we'll just leave this to do its thing and be back. All right, so we're gonna cut up our Brussels sprouts here, and what I'm gonna do is just partition them into 3 slices, and they don't have to look pretty because they definitely won't. And any smaller ones you can just do in half. So grab your sharp knife, your small paring knife, this little tiny bugger here, and just slice away. Don't slice your finger off though. Alright, so I've got the Brussels sprouts here all sliced up. Whoop. And there we go, that's some better lighting. And we're just gonna go ahead and plop these in without too much of a mess. And go ahead and stir. Now, believe it or not, this salad is extremely filling, and it's a great side, and you don't need like quinoa or anything to go with your dinner or your meal, because you got all the fiber from the Brussels sprouts and the nuts and the fruit, and you also got the carrots just to liven it up some and give it a little crunch, because it's different that way. And we'll wait to dress it, like I said, because otherwise it's gonna get all weighed down and sad looking. So we do have that on standby, the dressing, and we'll come back with the fully dressed salad in a little bit, but we're gonna go check on the chicken just to see how it's doing, because it's doing some magical things on the grill. All right, so back out here, and we're just gonna do flipperoo on the chicken, and that's coming off nice. So the way that you're gonna know your meat or whatever is ready to flip is it's gonna release some from the cooking surface, and sometimes you might need to poke it a little bit if it's got charred on, but for the most part that's what's going to happen. And just flip, and I'm just going to reuse some of that sauce. We're going to finish dressing these. I have to admit, there is nothing like barbecue chicken or barbecue anything in the summer. Because you can have it in the winter, but there's just something about having it in the summer. It's nice and warm out. You got drinks flowing, and everyone's happy. So we're just gonna lid that up and come back in a little bit, check on these chickens, and then we'll be able to plate everything and put the dressing on the salad, and we'll be ready to eat dinner. So we're gonna go check the chicken, and yes, I just came from another room with a meat thermometer. So the chicken should be done by now, and it better be because we are starving. So we got our handy dandy meat checker, and you want to try to pick a bigger piece because that one will be the most done, and we're climbing up to 170, 180 our rate, so we're good here. And let's just check this one for good measure. Yeah, so we're at 180. We're good here. And you always want to turn everything off on your grill, because otherwise you're going to run out of gas, and one day you're going to be like, oh snap.
It's also a safety thing. Make sure you shut off the gas at the tank and on the grill.
Yes.
You don't need to send yourself to the moon.
No explosion. So we're just going to peel this off. And a little stuck on isn't going to kill you. Like I said, I personally like that char, because I know that I did it myself, and I don't know, it's just a unique flavor. So that's our barbecue chicken, last minute for your Memorial Day cookout, and we're gonna go in and dress the rest of our salad.
Alright, anyways, back to the subject at hand.
So the salad, we've got our chicken all plated up, and since our salad dressing had been sitting for a while, we're just gonna give it a stir. Get everything incorporated, and just gonna go ahead and dress this up. And like I said, I'm not gonna use the whole thing because I want to see how much we've got. And it depends on how liberally you like to have your salad dressed, and I think this is enough. I know a little bit more. Our salad here, and let's just go ahead and pour this on. And there you have it. Nice, quick. Is it actually looking at anything?
Mm-hmm.
Nice, quick, relatively quick salad to go for your chicken. And if you want to make this for a crowd, you're saying you're having some people over, then this is a really great thing to be able to share. And it's unique if you like Brussels sprouts, because they are kind of a unique flavor. And let's just go ahead and take a taste, at least of this salad, because it's calling my name. Kathleen! The tang from the vinegar mixed with the mustard, and you get a little bit of the sweetness from maple syrup. It's not a lot, honestly. It's just enough to know that it's not full-blown vinegar. It really works together. And you get a little bit of crunch from the carrots and the nuts. Now they all kind of were sitting together for a while, just chilling out in the bowl. So it's a little bit soft, but it's not as though we had dressed it all and then put it on the plate. You want to wait to dress it until you're closer to eating, because otherwise the nuts and the carrots are going to get really drenched down, and nobody likes a soggy salad, just like nobody likes a soggy bottom on their baked goods. So that's Brussels sprout carrot salad and some grilled chicken that's real fast on the grill, like less than 30 minutes maybe. And like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. And I hope to see you next time. Thanks so much for watching, and enjoy. Happy Memorial Day.